What's up, everybody? You feel this beat right here?
Okay, hi everybody. So we all know that I've been having some serious internet issues in the last while, and I actually went and purchased a router at Best Buy to see if that would help my situation at all, and apparently it has not. And so instead of canceling Mystery Mondays altogether, I just thought I would repurpose them, and I will continue to do this going forward until we can kind of get this resolved. So what I'm going to be doing is I will likely just be recording a video for Monday nights, and hoping to make these cards for Monday nights much more in depth, and not so much a mystery one for you, but I want you to take these cards. I will give you the measurements as I'm doing them, and I want you to still go ahead and create with me. So I still want you to post your pictures online. I just want to see what you're doing, kind of see your versions of them. So it'll be just a little bit different on the Mystery Monday. They won't just be scraps, how to use your scraps. These will be fun folds or different folds, a little bit more in depth, that kind of thing. So hopefully you guys enjoy this as well. I hope to hear some feedback and some input from you. I love hearing the feedback. If you don't like it, please speak up. Let me know, or I'm just going to continue to do it. So I really look to your feedback and input when I'm doing things, okay? So I would just ask that you continue to give me that feedback, good or bad, okay? I'm okay with that. It's very hot here at the studio tonight, so I have my fan going beside me because we all know I don't have air here at the studio. So if my hair is blowing a little bit or you hear a noise, that's what it is. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I do have my volume right up. So let's get started, and I'll show you what we're going to make tonight. I'm just going to move my paper trimmer out of the way, and I'm just going to get my camera figured out. There we go. All right, so what I've been dying to make with you guys for weeks now is this card, and I haven't got around to doing it. And then I saw one of my stamping friends creating it, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm just going to do it, and I don't want it to be overwhelming to anybody. It's really a fun, super simple card, and I think you'll see that once we get going. So here's the card that I created, and it looks like my camera's a little bit blurry. I'm not sure why. There. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so this is your fun fold card. It stands like this. It's a center step card is what it's actually called. Again, I don't know. I don't like putting names to things because sometimes I never get them right. Everybody has their own idea of it. So we're going to make this card tonight. And I didn't decorate the middle of this on purpose because I think this paper is so stinking cute that it doesn't need it. But I did color my little gnomes here, and then I just popped them up with some dimensionals. So I think once you see how quick and simple this card is, I think you're really going to enjoy it. So one of the things that I've done, and I'm going to start doing going forward, I have done this in the past, but I've kind of got away from doing it, is making myself a template for these. Now, cherry cobbler was not a good choice. I had started creating something, and then this was the closest piece of paper beside me. But excuse me, what I do is I put all my measurements on here so that I can reference this, and then it's easy for me to recreate the card. So I'm going to continue to do this going forward. All right, so let's get started. So the first card I'm going to do, let's do the gnome card, just because I think that's really a fun card. So really all we need is a piece of 8.5 by 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and this is at 5.5, so it's a half a sheet of paper. 5.5 by 8.5 is what we have. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are actually going to flip this sideways, and we're going to go down to 3 1/4. And what I'm going to do here, actually no, let's go this way. I'm going to start at 1 1/4 here, and now I'm going to start at, where am I going to start here? I'm going to start at 3 1/4, I think is what I want to do here. Let me just double check this. Sorry, my measurements are not making sense to me all of a sudden. Yeah, so I'm starting at 3 1/4. Okay, so 3 1/4 on my paper trimmer right here, and I'm going to go down to 7.5. Okay, so 3 1/4 down to 7.5, which is hard to see. So you want to be in good light when you're doing this. I think 7.5 is about there. Okay, so there. And then I'm going to come over and I'm going to do, on this side, I'm going from, well, I could actually just flip this over. Actually, what I could do. And go 1 1/4 on this side. And then I'm going to go 3 1/4 down to 7.5 again. And again, it's hard to see. I don't have my light shining this direction for the camera. But essentially, this is what I want to end up with. So I know that was not very smooth. I overcut here. It doesn't matter though. Okay? So that's it for the cutting. That's all we have to do for cutting. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to actually put this into my paper trimmer with this fatter portion in, and I'm going to line it up at 3 1/4, which should actually be the top of these lines here that I cut. And with my scoring blade, I'm only going to score just to the cut mark. I'm not going all the way across. I'm only going to the cut line. So I'm going to the cut line here. I'm going to lift up my blade and I'm going to go to the cut line here. Okay, so I should have something that looks like this. I don't know if you can see it on camera. There's my fold marks right there. Okay, I'm probably going to have to cut this with my paper trimmer. Actually, maybe I'll just do it right now. I just didn't go far enough with my blade. Come on. Get into 1 1/4. There we go. Okay. All right. So I've lined up my lines. I've got my 2 score lines here. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down to 4 1/4. And I'm going to actually score in between these 2 cut lines here. Okay. So I'm not going over here. I'm just focusing on the center of my score or my cut lines here. So I'm just going to score here like this. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate. Oops, looks like I did not go all the way across. I don't have my light focused at me, so it's hard for me to see what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to turn this and I'm going to go to 2 inches. I'm going to score here and I'm going to score on this side. So again, I'm not doing any scoring on the center of the card. I'm only focusing on the sides. And then I'm going to bring this down to 1 inch. I'm going to score all the way along. Okay, so I know this is very hard to see, but just stick with me. And as I do more and more cards, I think you'll understand where I'm going here. So essentially, I came down to 3 1/4. No, sorry, let's back up. I started here at 1 1/4, and then I cut from 3 1/4 down to 7.5. And then I flipped it over and I did the exact same thing on the other side. So line it up at 1 1/4. And then I went 3 1/4 to 7.5. And then I flipped it and I lined it up at 3 1/4. And I did my score line, not all the way through, just on either side here. Okay, so don't go all the way through. And then I moved this across to 4 1/4, and I did a score line in the middle, but not on these 2 sides. Okay, just in the middle. And then I moved this, turned this around, and I went 2 inches, score line on either side, not in the middle. And then I moved this to 1 inch and went all the way across. Okay, no, that seems kind of confusing, but trust me, it's really not once you get going. Okay, so now this is my base. So how I'm going to fold this is I'm going to focus on the larger side to the back, and I'm going to do a mountain fold. I'm looking for my card. Yeah, mountain fold here. This will also be a mountain fold. These will be a valley, so back, and this will be a mountain. So once your card really actually just kind of falls together nicely on those score lines. And then I'm just going to take my bone folder, making sure this is scored on the bottom, or folded on the bottom nicely. I'm just going to take my bone folder and nicely crease these. Okay? And I just like nice creases. So that's where these bone folders are very, very nice for that. Okay, I'm just going to move my fan a little bit because I'm kind of dying here. All right. So this is what we have. So our base is done. Okay, not difficult. Okay, so now we need to decorate. So what do we need here? So we need some designer series paper. So I'm going to bring in my gnomes paper. Now, you'll notice this gnomes paper is not loved and chopped. And I'm going to put this back in here. I'm going to put this actually back in here. Okay, so what do I need here? My designer series paper for inside here is going to be 2 3/4 by 3 inches. Now I want 3 inches wide, 2 3/4 high. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check that just so I'm not telling you the wrong thing. Yeah, 3 inches wide, 2 3/4 high. Okay, so if your paper is directional, you want to be very, very careful that you're cutting the right way. So I said 2 3/4 high, correct? Okay, so I'm going to go this way, 2 3/4. And then I said 3 inches wide. Okay, so now if I cut this right, which no guarantees. Okay, are my measurements wrong? 3 1/4. So 3 inches long, by 2 3/4. I did do that wrong. I'm so sorry. Okay, so my measurements are right, just I'm wrong. Okay, so 3 inches, 2 3/4 wide. So 2 3/4 wide. I had a problem with this actually the first time I did it too because I cut my paper incorrectly by 3. And that's okay. It's okay that we mess up. Okay, so here, I got that part right. Okay, so there we go. Now, we need to do these 2 pieces right here, and these are 1 inch by 3 inch, and I know that's correct. So, I'm going to take this. I know it's going to be 3 inches long, so I'm just going to go 3 inches like this, and then I'm going to cut 1 inch, and then I'm going to cut 1 inch, because I need 2 of these for either side. Okay? Okay. So you can tell I'm not focused today, right? I'm going to put this over here so it's out of my way, and now I'm going to move my fan a little bit that way because now it's blowing too hard in my face. Just no keeping me happy, I tell you. All right, so I'm going to put my paper cutter here. Now I need some adhesive, so I'm going to bring my card back in. So, once you have the right measurements, it honestly goes together super duper quick. So here's my glue. And depending on the paper that you're using, you don't even really need to add extra to it. You really just let the paper do all the work for you. And this gnome paper is incredible. It's actually more adorable in person than you think it is. Okay, so I've opened this up just so that it's nice and flat. Whoops. I got jelly fingers today. I'm hot and the air's too much for me, so then I have to move my fan. It's really, really hot in here tonight. Okay. So there we go. So there is my paper. Now, this piece here is going to go down here, and it's 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. I'm just going to reach for my dimensionals. And I am actually going to use Starry Sky for this because I love Starry Sky. I think it's an absolute amazing replacement for Old Navy or any blue, really, even though it's not a blue, which is funny. And the stamp that I want says, "Your kindness does not go unnoticed." And I have to tell you, I love that sentiment. Okay, so because my ink pad is very juicy and very new, I want to be very cautious as to how heavy I'm inking up my stamp. So I'm just going to put this right in the middle of my paper. hopefully straight, because I can tell it's not straight because I can see it on the grid paper underneath. And I'm going for the center. Okay, now, close that up. Now, before I went on camera, what I did is I actually pre-cut and colored some gnomes just to make things go a little bit quicker, because I figured you didn't want to sit here and watch me color gnomes. So, I did that. However, you could actually use the gnomes that are in the paper, because the dies will actually cut the gnomes out of the paper as well. So definitely use those. So here I just did these two little guys here. I think they're adorable. So I'm going to put her right about there, and I'm going to put him about there. And I'm just going to pop them up, and I'm going to leave the card very, very simple. I could put a mushroom in the middle, but I don't think I really need to. I think it's really adorable the way it is. And I love this paper because it's not seasonal. It's not holiday paper. It's all occasions paper, and the stamp set is all occasions. So sometimes we get stamps that are strictly holidays, right? Not this one, and that's what I love about it. Okay, there you go. Your card is done. Now, how are you going to write in here? Well, you could put a message in here, so you could put your paper in here, or you could actually just put it on the back as well if you wanted. Okay, I'm not going to put anything on mine right now, just because I want to make sure that I have it available to me when I know what I want to actually use it for. All right, now, okay, so how adorable is this card, right? And I could take some Wink Stella, obviously, and bling her right up. Okay, so there's my second gnome card. Okay, so let's do some more. I want to show you how awesome this fold actually is, and hopefully I can keep doing it without messing it up. Okay, so here we go. This one I'm going to do as a Christmas card or a holiday card. And so I have garden green paper here, and this is not a color I use very often, but it's one I'm challenging myself to use. Okay, so what am I doing here? I'm going to line this up at 1 1/4. So step number 1, line it up at 1 1/4. And then you're going to line your blade up at 3 1/4. I'm just going to move my light so maybe this will help me see where it is I'm supposed to be navigating to, because the lines on here are very, very faint. Yeah, and depending on the paper that you're using, it's really hard to see. I think it's about here. I honestly can't even tell right now. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Okay, here it is. 3 1/4 is right where my blade actually is. And then I'm going to cut it this way. And then I'm going to cut it down to 7 1/2. Which is right there. So 3 1/4 to 7 1/2. Okay. I don't normally cut my paper like that. And then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to line it back up at 1 1/4. And then I'm going to go again at 3 1/4. Again, just because I can't see what I'm doing here. To 7 1/2. Oops, I think I might have overcut that. It's okay. All right, that's the worst part, I would say, because it's hard to see the lines on here. Okay, so then what I want to do is I'm going to put this back into my paper trimmer. I'm going to put my cutting blade to the bottom. I'm going to line this up at 3 1/4, and I'm going to score just from here, oops, and then to here, right? And then I'm going to come down to 4 1/4. And this is where I'm going to do the inside. So that's my inside. And then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to rotate to 2 inches on the outside and on the outside. And then I'm going down to 1 inch all the way across. Okay? So that one actually turned out a lot better. Now, if you don't have this this paper trimmer, you could actually use a bone folder or whatever you normally would score your cards with, okay? All right, so then again, we're going to fold, mountain fold, valley, valley, and this will automatically come together like this, okay? And I'm going to use my bone folder to score this all down nice and tight. And when your creases are nice and tight, your card stands much, much better, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind as you're doing your cards. Okay, so what paper am I using for this, you're probably thinking? I am actually going to use the candy cane paper. So again, not a paper that I probably would have used. I'm going to actually see if I have... No, that's not going to be big enough. Okay. Just there. Okay, so what did I say this was? Does anybody remember? It's 2 3/4 across by 3 inches. So 2 3/4 across. So bring in my paper trimmer. Oops, let's put it the right way. 2 3/4 across by 3 inches long. And I hope I cut that right. Not bad for a beginner. Okay. And then I need 3 inches by 1. And I need 2 of these, right? Because these are going on the side. Okay. So 3 inches by 1. There's that. There's that. I'm going to put this back into my paper. So you'll notice that this paper is not loved and chopped yet. And that's for a couple reasons. One, I just haven't had a chance. And B, I'm using some of that paper for my team retreat. So I'm doing a team retreat with some of my team members. And we are doing projects while we're away. So, and I am spoiling them with all sorts of great projects. Really fun things that I'm sure none of them have seen. So I'm looking forward to just sitting and creating with the ladies. All right, so here we go. Here's my candy cane paper. And then I'm going to have now you could use any side of this paper, either side of this paper, right? But I'm going to actually just use, I'm going to use the stripes because I'm already using a garden green background. So I just find to open this up is much easier. Like this. And if you line your paper up right, you can get all your lines. If you cut your paper right, sorry, you can get all your lines to match up. Which kind of gives it even more cool effect, right? There. Okay. Whoops, the daisies, maybe we should wait for the glue to dry first. There we go. All right, now, so for this one, I have this piece that's going to go right here. Now, I'm hoping to use this Merry and Bright. I don't know if that's going to fit on there. Oops, there's my candy canes. Merry and Bright. Let's try. Let's try and see what happens. Oops, I'm dropping things. I'm making a mess. My first time out in public, apparently. Okay, so here's my real red. And I'm using real red. I could use any of these colors that are in here, but I'm going to use real red. Because my fingers are already messy with real red ink. And I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to be very brave. And do that. Okay. Oh, I just put my fingers in the ink. How awesome was that? Okay, so I'm going to glue this down like this. I'm going to put this down in here, right, as such. Kind of come together pretty cool. I'm going to put my top of my glue because it's that over there. Now, the other thing I did off camera, because again, didn't want to bore anybody, is I stamped and cut out my candy canes and I made myself a little bow. So I was kind of thinking this would look fun like this and like this, and then with a little bow to hold it all down. What do you think? Super cute? I think so. Okay, so let's put some dimensionals on here because everybody knows that I am like the queen of dimensionals. I could own stocks in this company. I swear I could. Maybe that's what I should be doing. Maybe I should be investing in the Dimensional company. I would probably be so rich with my own purchases. So if you don't have dimensionals in your toolkit, it's a total must-have. Total must-have. It just makes your project pop in such a simple way. And it always makes people go, wow, look at that. Okay, so there's my candy canes. Now I'm going to grab a glue dot because I want to put my ribbon on with a glue dot. And I'm going to probably use a couple glue dots just because I feel like these glue dots are not as strong as the ones that come in the roll. These are like leftover paper pumpkin or kit ones. So I'm going to put my bow about there. I feel like this side's a lot more springy than that side. Now I need to trim this down though. So let's grab my scissors. How cute is that? Simple, fun, cute, yes. Okay, so if you like this video, I'm going to ask that you subscribe to the video so that when I upload random videos, because I'm going to start doing that as well, that you're going to get notified. So you'll be one of the first ones to see all the new uploads and that kind of thing. So you don't want to miss out. How fun is this card? Right? Super fun. And you can see it's really not that hard of a layout. But I think the simplicity of this is so stinking cute. All right, so this is card number 2. Now, my last card, I wanted to do something that was not Christmassy or holiday-ish. So I thought we would use Hues of Happiness and Happiness Abound stamp set. So Hues of Happiness paper, Happiness Abound stamp set. And I love the suite beyond words. And I'm way addicted to it. So, where's my template? Here it is. All right, here we go. So, this is our last card. So, we are going to line this up at 1 1/4. And we want this at 3 1/4. I'm going to flip my blade or my cutter here just so I can actually see where I'm cutting here. So, 1 1/4. This is not usually how I would, it's not how I cut my paper generally, but my eyes are not really cooperating. Okay, so 1 1/4. So then we're going 3 1/4. So lined up here at 1 1/4, 3 1/4 to 7 1/2, 1 1/4, 7 1/2, which is right there. I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna flip it over. And I'm going to do the same thing. 1 1/4, which is right here. Whoops, the daisies. Let's like maybe do this straight. It's very awkward doing it sideways like this, but position me where I think I need to be. And I'm really, really hot right now too, which does not help anything. Okay, so I want 3 1/4 down to 7 1/2. Right there. Okay, so we're done with the cut. Right now we're going to get the cutting blade out of the way so we don't get them mixed up. We're going to slide this in with the thicker end to the left, 3 1/4, and I'm just doing the sides. Remember, we're not going all the way across. We're just doing this 1 1/4 piece, and they're dragging, and we're coming over here. We're doing this side, this piece, not in the center. Now we're going to go to 4 1/4. Now we are going to do the center. So we're going all the way across. Okay? And then we're turning our paper and we're going 2 inches on either side, not in the middle. Don't do it in the middle. It's been so long since I've made one of these cards and I'm thinking, why? Now we're down to 1 inch all the way across. Okay? All right. Now, paper cutter out of the way for a second. I feel like this side is bigger than this side for some reason. Did I line that up at the wrong spot? I might have. No, 1 1/4. Oh, this one's not quite at 1 1/4. Shoot. Okay, so when I went to put it in my paper cutter, I did not line these up right. Anyway, it's fine. We'll figure it out. Okay, so now what do I need? I need a piece of DSP that is 2 3/4 by 3. So these are full sheets in here. So I'm going to actually just pick this one here. And I'm going to pick this part that has more purple in it. So 3 inches across. By 2 3/4. Should be the center. And then I need 3 inches long by 1. And then by 1. Okay. Now, I do have this paper and love it, chop it, but not enough of it because I've been using it like no tomorrow. All right, so here we go. So now we're going to fold, mountain fold, valley. And then that will just fold back. We're going to line this up, make sure it's beautiful, and then we're going to bone fold to make sure everything is amazingly creased beautifully. Now we're going to bring this one in here. I feel like, yeah, it goes this way. I was like, something's wrong there. Okay, so again, if your paper's directional, you want to be very careful how you cut your paper. If it's not directional, it's even better because then you don't even have to think, you just cut. And then if you mess it up, you can just rotate your paper. Okay, so I'm going to open this one up to do this side. Now, this one I may have to, oh, no, okay. It's just, yeah, I messed up this one side. Anyway, it doesn't matter because I don't think anybody would have noticed unless I said something. So, I just, when I put it into my paper cutter, did not line it up properly. I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to go this way. Come on. My glue is not cooperating with me today. So this one's a little bit more narrow. But it's okay. Nobody's going to notice the difference except for me. Because I know this one's a little bit messed up. Okay, so here we go. Here's my paper. I need my stamp set. So I might do this one as a happy birthday maybe. I don't have a lot of birthday cards. Oh, this is congratulations. Apparently I haven't used congratulations. Okay, where is my block? Is right here. So I'm going to actually do this in a mauve. So I'm going to use Highland Heather actually. Very, very hot in here today, guys. All right, let's do this. Happy birthday. Let's make sure my paper's straight. Happy birthday. Beautiful. And clean that off. Closing that up so I don't put my finger in it. Because you all know I would do that. Okay, here we go. Happy birthday. It's pretty just like that, but we can't just leave it like that. So I had die cut from previously these flowers, but then I figured I needed some leaves. So I cut and colored these leaves. Cut these leaves. To go with my flowers. So I was thinking about doing something like this and then just adding my leaves where I needed them. Now I know those flowers probably do not like go with the whole purple theme, but they are part of the pack, like the color package. So I think I'm safe. I just realized I put those dimensionals on there. Probably should not have put them everywhere because, well, I guess I can put them here. Okay. Be careful where you're putting your dimensionals when you're doing this, because you want to make sure that you're not affecting the opening of your card. So I'm going to be making a mess with these backings. Okay. Put those like, so that's exactly what I mean. I put a dimensional right here, which I should not have. Okay. Like that. But now I need to put my petals in here. So I'm going to put one about there. Yeah, I can tuck one in there. Yeah, I'll do it with some glue though. Could do it with a glue dot actually, but I'm feeling very daring today. I'm just going to hold that for a second just to let it find its way. And then I'll put another one down here. Because I did 4 of them, I'll probably end up using all 4 just because I have them cut already. Okay. So we'll have to vote. I'll be interested to see what your comments are on this one and what you think of the overall card. Or the layout, I mean, not necessarily the card, but the layout. Okay, so you can see how quickly we got this put together. Now, this is not intended to actually, there. Okay, this is not intended to lay flat. It's intended to stay on the flower. So, I got glue on my fingers. All right, so let's take a vote. I'll bring up both gnomes just so that you can see. Okay, and I will take pictures of these so that you guys can see them up close a little bit better. I actually think I like this one the best, to be quite honest. It's very simple but very clean, and of course you could put your jewels on and really bling it up. You could put some Wink of Stella, that kind of thing. So yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this card. I'm really anxious to hear what you think of this style format. Do you like me doing a video with a fun fold or a different type of fold? Would you like me to go back to posting the measurements but then doing a video for you live, like this recorded, where you guys can just play it back? Just really curious to hear your feedback and your input so that I can hear what you guys like and don't like. So sometimes it's really hard for me to decide you know, what you guys would like or what you would benefit from. And I think everybody has a little different thought process on that, right? Like a little different thought. So I like doing these different fancy fold and fun folds for you. So, and if you like doing those, you might want to stick around and stay tuned for some information coming out in September around fancy folds. Okay, so that's just a little tip for you. If you like this style card, stay tuned. There's something special coming up for you in the next couple months. All right, thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you're having a great night. Be sure to subscribe to the video and like my page. Follow me on social media so you're up to date whenever I make any new videos or post anything that you don't want to miss out on. All right, thanks for coming by, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together, you know it's all because everybody